Boss, we're back. Time to complete the mission.
Five years. It's been 5 years. Well, more than 5 years actually, since the clip you just saw and a petition were released to try and see if there was any demand for a Firefall-like game. A spiritual successor to be exact. And now, more than 5 years later, I want to look back at the past 5 years and share some thoughts on the progress it's made, cause lately it's been feeling like we're slowing down as we're focusing on the wrong things in my opinion. And I want to see if it's just a feeling or there's actually something behind this feeling of mine. Before we start, I'd like to add that we are supposed to get a roadmap this month, but I want to make this video before we get it. So, let's go back to the beginning, when it all started. 2016, Genesis. As mentioned in the beginning of the video, in 2016, Mark Kern uploads a teaser clip and a petition to see if there was any interest in the new game that would be what Firefall should have been. And almost 5,000 signatures later, the first crowdfunding milestone happened that will later be known as M1. M1 was very successful, even if it was just for a website and forums, and with that M2 quickly followed. This time the goal was to create the EM-8ER mining mech in-engine, and M2 raised way more than it asked for. And almost a year later we've taken the first step towards the playable mock-up. 2017, the first step. Not a whole lot has happened that year in terms of number of events, but nonetheless, it was a very important year for Ember, since backers of M2 have received their Thumper EXE, a snowy, pre-terraformed environment with some music composed by Michael Bross playing in the background, and the Thumper deploying with no sound effects were enough to give me and a whole bunch of people the Firefall feels. And then, 2 months later, M3 came around, the big milestone we're in right now. The milestone to fund the complete playable mockup that will serve as a proof of concept for the future backers of the final game. 2018 Art Demo. Not a whole lot has happened. We got the complete art demo, which was really cool, and we were getting dev update videos on YouTube, which stopped happening that year as well. 2019, the first leap. 2019 was the first year in which it felt like progress had actually begun. We've gotten a map to walk on that looks a lot like Copacabana from Firefall. Kinda sus if you ask me. But more importantly, we've gotten an Omniframe to run, jet, and glide in, as well as deploy glider pads. This same year, we've gotten working multiplayer on dedicated servers with up to 100 players, the plasma cannon primary, the assault rifle secondary, as well as some PvP for testing, and another ability called Deep Strike. In 2019, we've also gotten the Ember subscription program to pay for dedicated servers and have a stable revenue stream for the game, and allow the devs to do more than what had been originally planned for M3. This year we got the first piece of the mockup, which was the Omniframe that can move, shoot, and use abilities. 2020, it keeps on going. This year we've been getting builds fairly regularly at almost constant time intervals. The first build of the year was the Thumper deployment build, which could deploy anywhere, and it could walk around and drill and do an emote. We've also gotten a third ability, Missile Swarm, first person mode, the Tsi-hu responding through rifts. They've put a pilot inside the Omniframe. We could scan for resources and collect them after deploying the Thumper, and we weren't the only ones with a new ability, as the Tsi-hu have gotten the ability to grapple players out of the sky and crash them down. That was a nice build to close the year, in which we've gotten 2 more pieces for the final mockup. The first being scanning and collection of resources, and the second being the Tsi-hu spawning. 2021. Slowing down? Okay, this is where the meat of the video is. While in 2021 we did get two major builds, with them being the Tsi-hu Fighting Back demo and the 64 square kilometer white box build that had the first iteration of the complete mining encounter, and we got a bunch of small builds like bug fixes, glider tuning, a text chat in the game, the Unreal 5 nanite and voxel builds. All these were quite small and don't contribute to getting us closer to the final mock-up. We got a new concept art for the new light and medium Omni frames and a whole bunch of other stuff like that. The main thing that bugged me this year is something that was highlighted in my first critique video, and it's of course related to the skins. I'd like to mention that I don't mind the skins themselves being in the game, and I won't go over what was said in the video. You can check it out if you'd like. What I'd like to talk about more are the chief chats. If you don't know, every Thursday at 11 AM Pacific, Mark has a chat with the community in which you can ask questions. A lot of these chief chats were essentially marketing chats this year, with like 80% of them being, "Hey, skins, we have a sale on skins. Oh, you have seen the new skins by insert artist here? Don't forget to buy the skins before they're gone. We're having a sale on packs and skins." And that was the whole conversation. I get it, it makes money, but goddamn, can we tone it down with the marketing? And on several occasions, Mark said something like, "Now we're shifting the focus to mecha." What? Why? Wasn't it always the focus? I'm confused. And of course, tossing all the points I'd made in my first problem with Ember video about spending too much time and effort on making skins at this early stage of development. 2022, looking forward. So, to answer the question in the beginning of the video, yes, this feeling doesn't come from nothing. Compared to 2019 and 2020, we've made less progress as far as I can see, and couple that with the aggressive focus on skins in 2021 feels like an underwhelming year in terms of actual progress. So, what should be done? Well, I think they're holding on to a lot of stuff they've made, but they're not showing us because they're keeping it secret for Kickstarter. I think they should release a playable light frame. I think it will generate a lot of hype and help rejuvenate the community, because it seems the growth has stagnated for a while now. And also, it'll give the Firefall fans that don't like the larger, bulkier, medium and heavy Omni frames something to be excited about. And we are supposed to get the roadmap this month, and it'll be interesting to see how this video ages when it comes out. We're also having some marketing collab with a niche, well-loved IP, which I don't care too much about from how they're describing it. And that's all I wanted to talk about. Thank you so much for watching. My Is Ember Actually Making Progress video has recently crossed 1,000 views, so thank you so much for that. I hope the roadmap brings us some solid goals with some solid dates, including one for Kickstarter, because it was supposed to be in 2021 too. Like this video if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it, subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one.